Welcome to the Farming Without the Bank podcast, the show with a no BS approach to money, hosted by a farm strategy expert and authorized IBC practitioner. Join us as we get real and expose the flaws of traditional financial institutions in order to help farmers take control of their finances, create peace of mind, grow their wealth, and leave a legacy. Now, here's your host, Mary Jo Irmen.
Hello, and welcome back to the podcast. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate it. Hey, if you guys have a topic that you want addressed, let me know. I am digging deep trying to find stuff to make sure that this podcast is constantly full of information. That is the goal. So if there is something I've not talked about, if there's a burning question you have, email me, maryjo@withoutthebank.com, and let me know. Okay. Today, we are going to talk about the fact that really infinite banking is worth far more than what the cash value is. And a lot of times, what happens is we get so wrapped up in the cash value piece of it, we forget about the death benefit piece. We forget about the generational wealth piece, okay? And I had this conversation with a potential client yesterday, and it was such a good conversation because there were two people in the meeting, two generations, and one generation made a comment that I have enough money in investments, I didn't need my life insurance. And so I canceled that. And he didn't have anything decent, so it wasn't a loss by any stretch of the imagination. I have run into this over the years. And that is when a financial advisor or an accountant is typically the one that will do this. We'll say, you know what, you're 80, 90 years old. You don't need to have that life insurance anymore because you don't have any debt. Maybe we quit buying land. Now, I think that's funny because I talked to an 80-year-old a couple weeks ago, and he's still buying land at 80. So you tell me when farmers are done. Never. So if we have no debt, the accountant comes in and says, hey, you know what? We're going to cancel your life insurance because you just don't need it. The kids are going to have enough other stuff. That's not a big deal. Okay, that's crazy to me. Unless you have a terrible policy, but if you have a whole life policy and we've been using the cash value along the way, we have to look at what we are getting outside of the cash value piece. We are getting death benefit. So many people that are cash buyers say, you know what, why do I need this life insurance when I can just have a savings account? Well, with a savings account, if you die, the kids get what's ever in savings. If you die with the life insurance, we get the death benefit that we paid a discounted dollar for. And that is going to go income tax free. And so we have this huge value because now the kids get the death benefit. And if they understand what to do with it and they buy more life insurance, now we've created generational wealth and we even left more money to the grandkids. So we have to think about that fact, okay? The financial piece of it. But now let's go to the emotional side of it. So many people do not think about, well, how does the estate, the trustee, get paid to take care of the trust? So that was the first question that I asked when we set up our trust is if our family is going to take care of the trust, I want them to get paid for their time. Well, if there isn't life insurance there, and all we have are assets to be divided equally, who's in charge of the trust? Could the life insurance actually pay that trustee to clean up the trust, to clean up the estate? I mean, there are very, 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 I think I've talked to one or two people that have had parents that pass away, that it's just been a smooth transition because everything was set up. One or two in 13 years. especially if you have minors, the person that is managing that trust and is the trustee, that person has responsibilities. The people that are cleaning up your estate, they have to get titles changed. They have to deliver death certificates. They have all this paperwork. The amount and time and energy that that takes is crazy. They will most likely have lost income. If they work for somebody, they will most likely have to take time off. If they are self employed, their income may go down for their business because they don't have time to run their business. We have to have stuff go through probate if it's not clean. All that death benefit is there to help with those things. And that is an instantaneous check in 99% of cases. And I say that because if you die within the first 2 years of your policy, now it's contestable and it takes longer to get paid because the insurance company just wants to make sure there was nothing fishy going on. Okay. Now, that time period, if we have to go through probate, we have to do all of those things. How are we going to pay the trustee for their time? How is the trustee going to be paying for any kind of attorney fees, any kind of paperwork that needs to happen? Any of that stuff, they're going to take on those expenses and then they hope that the estate will refund them. What if they don't have the ability to take those expenses on? If it is a non-contestable policy, my death benefit checks have been delivered within a week, maybe 2. It is super fast. It takes us longer to wait for the death certificate than it does for the death benefit check. Now, I don't care if you think that you're leaving this to your wife and it's not a big deal because she's got all the time in the world, she's retired. Does she have all the money in the world to do this? The last thing that a family or a spouse wants to do is sell your assets. So many people say to me, well, Mary Jo, I don't have any debt, so I don't need to have life insurance because they can just sell my assets. I have equity in things, or I have the land paid off, or whatever. Y'all know, and you've all seen this. Somebody dies, and that neighbor is at that funeral. I'm so sorry that your husband passed away. Are you selling the land? Are you going to be selling the equipment? I mean, I've done a whole podcast on this because this stuff kind of gets me riled. Put your family in a position where they can say, go fly a kite. Because I don't need that money. I don't have any idea when I'm going to sell it. And frankly, I'm probably not going to sell it to you because you asked at the funeral. Be considerate. This is not something that is just cash value. Yes, we're going to use it while we're alive, but let's think about how much easier it will make life for everybody that outlives us. They will get paid. They will not have to have fire sales of things. Because here's the other thing. Just because you pass away doesn't necessarily mean the bank is going to say, oh, that's okay, you can miss those payments. We understand. It's going to take you some time. No, credit card companies do not say, oh, that's okay, he passed away. I understand. You can miss those payments. No. And if the role is reversed and we're in a situation where the wife is the one that was doing all the bookkeeping, all the paying of the bills, and she's the one that passes away, it is going to take a long time for those widowers to figure out what bill needs to be paid. I remember Nelson telling me that he prepared Mary to be a widow. And he said to her, you get to pay all the bills. I am done doing anything. It is all yours now. And a bill came and she said, well, Nelson, what do I do with this? He said, Mary, I don't know, I'm dead. It's so funny. And I mean, it's funny, but it's not funny, right? It's reality. I think sometimes I want to say, I don't know, Scott, I'm dead. Because it's so easy to ask the person that's handling that. And we don't have to try to figure it out. So if we give them this influx of money through death benefit, my gosh, they don't have to worry about how do I get into that bank account? How much is in that bank account? What loan do I have at the bank? What did he just buy? What's happening with the loan officer? Because frankly, not every spouse is on the same page. Not every couple's on the same page to know exactly where all this money is going, right? Where is all of this stuff? Do you have it organized? Jolene Brown talks about this all the time. The best thing she gave to her daughters was a piece of paper that was rolled up and said, here is everything you need to know. This is what you're going to need. There is so much emotion behind when somebody passes that we forget about that piece of it when we're looking at buying a policy. Instead, we buy the policy and what are we concerned about? What's our rate of return? How much are we going to have to pay for interest? Okay, but nobody ever asks me, well, Mary Jo, how much does that death benefit? How cheap was that death benefit per dollar? How do we pass this on and create the legacy? People do ask that, but it's rare. It's not as much as it should be. We need to be teaching the generations. We need to be setting that all up. We have to remember the unseen of everything that Nelson was teaching us is this. It's not just cash value. It's not just growth. It is how can we have this death benefit to pass on, to provide for loved ones, to have for estate planning. Please don't tell me, well, they can just sell everything. It'll be okay. No, it's not going to be okay. It's going to be harder. I am telling you, my widowers typically bounce back a little bit faster. Usually it takes my widowers about a year, but my widows, it takes them a year to just kind of get to be okay. And then it takes them about 2 years before they can really start to logically think stuff through. If they have not been the ones in charge, if there has been a sudden passing, this is hard. Very, very hard. And everybody is going to process that differently. And so you should have something there to make sure that they are protected and it's easily accessible to have access to money. Not, oh, well, they'll have my stocks, they'll have my bonds. What doesn't go through probate? Life insurance. I just send the check. It's just that simple. All right, you guys, it's more than cash value. Let me know if you have a topic question. I am happy to answer those. Email me if you have emailed me and I haven't talked about it. I maybe missed it. And so please email me again and say, hey, lady, you didn't talk about my topic. Let me know. MaryJo@withoutthebank.com. If you've not gotten the book, go get the book. I am booked out only until June still. Everything has been slowing down. Everybody's back in the field, all that good stuff. So if you want to get on the calendar, do that, and then we'll put you on the wait list. Here's the other thing. If you are waiting for your, you don't want to get on the calendar because you don't know if it's going to be raining, are you going to be in the field, whatever. Get on the calendar and then just reschedule. If something comes up, we get it. Happens. It is starting to happen a lot. Didn't happen at all through the winter. Now it's starting to happen a lot. Or if you can give me just an hour out of the day, and then I will make sure that, hey, Mary Jo, I should be in the field. We're going to go through that meeting super quickly to get you back in the field. Or if you're calving and a cow is calving at that minute, I know a lot of people just have to cancel quickly beforehand because of that. But hey, at least you can just get rescheduled and you have a spot in case something works. I get it. I understand where you guys are. So let me know if you need anything. Otherwise, you have a fantastic rest of your day.
Thanks for listening to the Farming Without the Bank podcast. We hope today's episode has inspired you to take control of your finances in new ways. Don't forget to check out our website, farmingwithoutthebank.com, and engage with us on our Facebook page, Farming Without the Bank. Join us next week as we smash more financial myths and empower you to accomplish your financial goals.